Very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm heartened to see so many of you this afternoon. In fact, I was told that the sign up for this afternoon session, we have reached a number of 547. I think that is probably one of the largest seminar attendance that we have at ICPAS in recent days. Indeed, given the number of sign-up, this is a testament to the draw of our eminent speaker, Mr. Sam Yi Long, and of course our distinguished panelists too. We have already watched on TV the 2010 budget announcement by Minister Tharman. I believe many of us have also been watching the TV, if not reading in the press, the parliamentary debate over the last week or so. In fact, for this afternoon, budget will continue. What we were hoping to do a few weeks back when we were planning for this budget seminar, in fact, we were hoping to get a member of parliament to be on the panel also. But unfortunately, they told us that this week is parliamentary debate and they cannot attend this session. That aside, looking back in 2009, if you recall, Finance Minister Tharman in his budget speech talked about how Singapore weathered the financial crisis in the last 18 months or so. In the whole of 2009, the world suffered its worst and most widespread recession in 60 years. And in Singapore, given this small economy, by and large, we live by exporting to Asia and to the world. And most of these export that we have, other than products, they are services. So for us, very much linked to the global economy, could not avoid this global contraction. Last year, the government took a very forceful measure to introduce a number of measures to support the economy. You recall the resilience package, like the jobs credit scheme, SPUR, and the special risk sharing initiative kept confidence up and helped Singapore avoid the worst of the global crisis. So taking both the recession and the recovering together, Singapore's economy has contracted less than most other highly globalized economies in the world. Suffice to say that prudence measure in the budget 29 helped steer Singapore's way into an economic recovery. And what about budget 2010? What does budget 2010 hold for us, and how can we best leverage on the schemes available? Just a week ago, last Monday, I had the privilege of co-chairing the ICPAS post-budget roundtable with Ms. Jessica Tan. Ms. Jessica Tan is actually the chairman of the Government Parliamentary Committee for Finance and Trade and Industry, and she is also the Member of Parliament for East Coast GRC. The ICPAS Roundtable is a channel for the Institute to gather views from leaders in not only the CPA community, but also the academia and business, and provide feedback to the government. We had 15 business leaders from various industries join in the roundtable discussion. In the words of Ms. Jessica Tan, who is the chairman of Government Parliamentary Committee for Finance and Trade and Industry, she actually said this at the roundtable. She said the longer-term objective of 2010 budget are, firstly, to increase wages, ensuring that there are quality jobs in tandem with economic growth, and being productivity focused. This is actually the buzzword probably for 2010, productivity. Secondly, she said, to ensure that companies that operate out of Singapore can be competitive and take advantage of the growth opportunities. And third, the budget is to ensure that this budget is inclusive. So what are the key components in budget 2010? Well, Mr. Sam later on will actually give you a presentation on that. But just very briefly, Budget 2010 comprises few key components. The government plans to, number one, boost productivity, and number two, spur innovation, number three, grow globally competitive companies, and number four, help workers upgrade. The government sets the goal of growing Singapore's productivity by 2 to 3% per year over the next decade. Understandably so, because if you look at the budget, the fiscal measure over the past few decades, every 10 years we have to do something quite different. So Budget 2010 was meticulously crafted to transform Singapore over the next decade with a key focus on raising productivity based on skills development and innovation, growing globally competitive companies and including, which is important, including all Singaporeans in the country's growth. So at the ICPAS Roundtable, we had an insightful discussion on some of these measures. Some applauded the pro-business measures, others raised concerns about the impact of certain schemes. At the Roundtable last week, if you allow me just to share a few of these insights with you, we are going to produce a white paper, and hopefully they will be ready very soon that you can access to the website and have a look. But at the Roundtable, one of the hotly debated topics was the phasing out of the industrial building allowance. Many of us here are practitioners. I'm sure you know what the implication is with the withdrawal of IBA. That was noted by several journalists also who covered the event. If you watch Channel News Asia just last Monday at night, 10:20 business report section. In Channel News Asia report last Monday, Mr. Chia Nam Tun, CFO at Ascendas Group, who is one of our roundtable panelists, said, "We were particularly concerned about the IBA rules phasing out. A lot of the countries in the region use IBA as a key tool to drive competitiveness of their companies." He said, "I would like to see that continue and if possible, even enhance the land intensification allowance." In Business Times, last Tuesday, that covers the event, KPMG Executive Director of Tax David Lee was quoted. He said he agreed that the phasing out of the IBA seemed contrary to the strategy of nurturing industry ecosystems. And another topic discussed was a hike in foreign worker levies. And again, as reported in the press, in Straits Times report on Tuesday last week, one of our panelists, National Kidney Foundation Financial Controller, Ms. Ingrid Tay, said some nursing homes were almost 80% staffed by the foreign workers. It would be hard to maintain the cost of treatment for needing patients with the increased labor costs. Another report in Business Times, Ernst & Young Corporate Tax Service Partner Chu Eng Chuan was quoted saying that the levy hike was unlikely to induce productivity gain in an already overstretched healthcare workforce. So a lot had been going on, and I really hope that the session this afternoon, we have got another list of panelists here who would discuss some of these topics, probably another time. So this is just a selection of a few viewpoints generated at the roundtable, but it certainly shows how each policy can have far-reaching implications. And that is why we are here today, this afternoon, to understand what implications Budget 2010 holds. I'm sure all of us here are keen to find out in detail what sort of impact this Budget 10 has either on us, our clients, and our economy, and what it means for us as individuals. And I hope today's discussion will provide some answers and food for thought. And with that, I would like to thank all of you for coming, and not least our distinguished speaker and panelists for sparing time during their busy schedule. I look forward to a fruitful discussion. Thank you very much, and God bless.